Hello and welcome. Joining us this moment is a very special guest, Iran's ambassador to India. With us is Ambassador Iraj Elahi. Sir, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us, even as we have seen the events that have transpired this week.
Welcome.
That many believe, and many believe, in fact, there is an escalation that is possible in the Middle East after Iran has, of course, sent hundreds of rockets towards Israel. Israel has said that it will respond at a time and a place of its choosing. What do you expect will take place in coming days, Ambassador?
Welcome, and I appreciate to having me and giving me this opportunity to talk to your viewers. We hope that Israeli decision makers have learned enough from the strike which they have received from our missiles, and they will not escalate the situation. They assassinated official guest of Iran, Ismail Haniyeh, inside Iran. They violated sovereignty of Iran, so we were obliged to defend our sovereignty, our national interest, and in retaliation of this, we have struck Israel. So we hope that they will not continue their crimes against Iran.
Right. But the statement coming in from Israel is a little different. And I'd like to quote what Benjamin Netanyahu has said, Ambassador Elahi, the Prime Minister of Israel. And he has said that after those missiles were fired, that the regime of Iran does not understand our determination to defend ourselves. They will understand we will stand by the rule established. Whoever attacks, we will attack them. So the point being made over here is, what really are we looking at? Because there are many who believe, and what could be the potential targets from Israel's side if there is some kind of an air attack or any other attack from Israel's side, particularly nuclear plants, sensitive energy facilities. All of this could be the potential targets if Israel does decide to launch this kind of an attack in coming days, coming weeks, coming months.
It doesn't make any parts of Iran, even in desert of Iran, are valuable for Iran. If they hit even desert or mountains of Iran, which are empty, and there is no infrastructure, we will retaliate. So it would be they will receive harmful and painful strike if they repeat their mistake. We hope that they revise their calculation about the military capability of Iran. They think and they believe that Iran is not able to defend its national interest and its territory. We hope that they have learned enough from the recent military strikes of Iran, which, despite of the censorship, they themselves felt this by their heart.
Right. So do you believe that Iran and Israel are already at war?
We are not at war. Israel, we are in hostility, Israel, we are retaliating, or we are responding to the hostility of Israel. During the 2 decades, Israel has assassinated Iranian scientists.
Right.
Israel has supported different separatist groups. Israel has supported different terrorist groups who exploded. Israel has supported different groups inside Iran to destroy infrastructure. So we call hostility, not war. They have intensified their hostility to Iran, and they obliged Iran then to respond effectively. We need to deter the hostility and crimes of Israel.
Right. Now, today, Iran's Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has delivered his sermon. And what he has said in his sermon honoring Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah leader killed by the Israeli airstrike, he said, the enemy of Iran is the same as the enemy of Iraq, Lebanon, and Egypt. Our enemy is one and the same. All enemies will be defeated if Muslims unite, as a divine support will follow. How do you read this? Is this a call for Muslim unity against what he describes as an aggressor, or a call for a war against Israel?
The discourse of Iran, which was mentioned by Supreme Leader, is that all oppressed people, despite of their religion, whether they are Hindus, whether they are Muslim, whether they are Sunni, whether they are Shia, it doesn't make anything. They should defend their rights. It doesn't make in which country they are living. They should support each other. So we believe that this discourse is supported by students in the United States. This discourse is supported by people in the streets of different cities of Europe, in Australia, in different countries, all in different continents. So this is not just a policy. This is a discourse. Please, please, please pay to this point, and pay attention to this point, that this is a new discourse. All oppressed people, all people who are committed to human rights, all people who are committed to international law should support human rights, who should support international law, and force and push Israel to stop its crimes in the region, and not only in Israel, in any parts of the world.
Right. And let me also ask you, sir, because, the big question is that what was the purpose of the strike that was carried out by Israel, by Iran on Israel on the 1st of October? Because this is the second direct missile attack that has been carried out by Iran on Israel this year, the previous one in April. And the larger point is that most of those missiles that were fired by Iran were intercepted by Israel, and the damage was not very extensive. In such a situation, how would you respond to those who said that you intended to cause extensive damage to Israel, but that failed?
The main goal of Iran's strike was deterrence. We felt that Israel, in the Israeli decision makers and Israeli leadership, Zionists, believe that there is no country, no one can stand against them or resist against them. And in this case, they felt that they are free to do whatever they want. As we witnessed, they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh inside Iran. We launched these missiles toward Israel and strike Israel to deter Israeli threat. Israel just understand and feel the language of power, nothing else. No logic, no ethics, so no international law. It is not committed to the international law. It is not committed to the human principles. So they just believe and they just understand the language of force. So we had to deter this threat, and our main intention was this.
Right.
Regarding the intercepting Iranian missile, the reaction of Netanyahu, the harsh reaction of Netanyahu, shows that to which extent it was painful for Israeli forces.
Okay, but on this question about who started it all, so on and so forth, Israel, time and again has said that we are fighting a proxy war with Iran through the Hezbollah, which have in time and again firing into Israeli territory, and that you have armed and funded the Houthis in Yemen as well, who have also launched, various attacks and have also, been in support of the Hamas in Gaza. All this, of course, is with an intention to foment trouble, to foment terror and instability in Israel. Do you agree with that?
whatever they call Houthis, whatever they call Hamas, whatever they call Hezbollah as a proxy of Iran, you know, they are independent groups. They are independent nations. They are independent people who expressed their solidarity with Palestinians, with innocent people in Gaza, in Palestine. Houthis are attacking interests and infrastructure of Israel to deter the threat of Israel and to prevent Israel from attacking Gaza. Hezbollah is defending its territory. Hezbollah as a political party. Hezbollah is a political party and has a militia branch, militia wing, is defending the territory of Lebanon. Hamas also is defending its homeland. So how they are proxy of Iran? How they are proxy? They are defending themselves. Hezbollah is defending himself. Hamas is defending its homeland. Houthi is defending, is doing a launching operation in solidarity with Palestinians. So, what Israel claimed that they are proxy of Iran? Of course, we do support resistance against Israel, but they are independent forces. They make their decision by themselves, and Israel, by saying and calling them as proxy of Iran, try to justify its crimes against Palestinians, against Lebanese, against Houthis.
Right, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has time and again said that, you know, he has addressed the people of Iran and he has made a distinction between the people of Iran and the regime of Iran. Many are saying that this is a sign of how Israel wants to effect regime change in Iran. Is that something that is practically possible at all in your view?
You know, this is, as I mentioned, this is a miscalculation that there is a gap between Iranian government and Iranian nation. You know, unfortunately, because of the censorship which is done by the mass media and mainstream media, the reality of Iranian society is not shown for the world, and many aspects of Iranian life is hidden for the people all around the world. There is no gap between Iran, the government of Iran, and Iran. But from another point, let's think about regime change inside Israel. Netanyahu has hijacked regime of Israel, hijacked nation, Jewish, hijacked security of the region, hijacked United States, and he hijacked all of them for himself. Because if today ceasefire, there was an agreement for ceasefire, Netanyahu will be charged for different, will be charged with different crimes.
Right. Let me ask you a simple question, sir. In the possibility of the event, when you're talking about Israel, of course, has said that it will, you know, launch some kind of attack on Iran. It will reply at the suitable time, so on and so forth. But if it does do that, there is US standing very firmly with Israel. Will Iran be able to take on the onslaught of this, you know, in terms of the military infrastructure required and the staying power required? Will you then seek the support of other international nations? And are there nations who are going to come out and who will be willing to support you amongst the big military powers?
We hope that this tension will not lead to this end. We hope that this tension will not. They are there inside the establishment of United States. There are wise people who will not let this regime, Zionist regime, to pull the region and United States to this escalation of the war, the escalation of the situation in the region.
Sir, how do you look at the kind of technological advantage that Israel perhaps has built up? We saw the pagers, other devices such as walkie-talkies, etc., exploding, which very seriously damaged the operations of the Hezbollah. What do you think, and what is your reaction to what Israel has demonstrated in the last few weeks?
It shows that the quality of tension has been changed. Now the tension and the war is war of technology, and it not only it's essential for Hezbollah or Iran or any other. All people, all nations should learn enough lesson from this, that they need to develop and advance in the field of science and technology, and not be dependent to foreigners. They have to rely on their own capabilities.
Right. So also, in the past, many see this. Of course, there's a long history of what has happened in the Middle East. There's no denying that this is a problem that stretches across decades. But many see all of the fighting and violence, at least in recent times over the past 1 year, begin from the incidents that took place on the 7th of October. And at that point of time, at least, many countries had expressed their solidarity with Israel. I'm not talking about what happened consequently, but at least at that point of time, many of the countries saw this as a terror attack. You've been quoted as saying that this is not a terror attack, given the fact that there were innocent civilians who were killed. Why would you say that, Ambassador?
You cannot interpret or analyze the 7th October operation. You need to review the background of this event. The root of this event goes back to 1974, to 1967, 1973, different wars in Sabra and Shatila massacre, and there is, as you know, or may you know, that there is no territory has remained for Palestinian, and there is no ground for implementation of two-state solution. So if you separately analyze the 7th of October operation, yes, it may be you can blame Hamas for this. But if you consider the background, you cannot, and it's not rational to blame Hamas for doing this. This is one part of my answer. The second part is that let's assume that it is a terrorist act. Let's assume it was not terrorist act. It was Hamas is a resistance group. Hamas is a resistance group. Hezbollah is a resistance group. But let's assume that it is a terrorist act. It was a terrorist act. Should be the penalty or punishment appropriate to the crimes? Is 1,000 casualty of Hamas in 7th of October or 2,000 casualty of Israeli by Hamas equal to 41 casualty of innocent people in Gaza? It means one Israeli equal how many? Equal 40 people. There is no proportion, proportionally it's not equal. So nothing justified, nothing, even if...
No, but Israel is saying that they want this conflict to go on until they completely extinguish the threat.
Operation of Israel.
Israel is saying that they want this conflict to go on until they eliminate the threats once and for all through this long war.
By killing infants, by killing... by hitting hospitals, by hitting and striking tents of refugees, by destroying infrastructure of West Bank, by hitting and starvation of people, and to which extent? Yes,
certainly there are questions.
That they are to eliminate the roots and eradicates the terrorists. But how? By killing infants,
It's certainly not justified. Nobody
Are
can
infants
justify any
terrorists?
infants or children being killed, but there are allegations on the other side also. I don't want to be drawn into that debate, but Ambassador, I have to ask you a question. When Iran in the past has had no hesitation launching airstrikes on Pakistan, Iraq and Syria,
just a minute. How
when
many
outfits
children,
such as Jaish
how
and
many
Al-Dal-
children and infants? Dear brother.
No, of course, civilians are there. I'm not denying that civilians are there.
Brother,
but
just
then
a minute,
Israel also has its own version of the events that have transpired. I'm asking you a simple question. When airstrikes have happened from Iran's side on Pakistan, Iraq and Syria, when outfits such as Jaish al-Adl and ISIS have used territories in these countries against Iran, and therefore they say that why should Israel hold back when Hezbollah has used Lebanon's territory to target it?
We do not use Lebanon to strike Israel. This is Hezbollah which is striking Lebanon.
Hezbollah is not supported by Iran, sir?
Hezbollah is defend its territory of Lebanon.
Hezbollah is not supported by Iran?
We support Hezbollah. We support Hezbollah. We do not deny. No.
So that's why they call it a proxy.
We explicitly say that we support Hezbollah to defend its homeland. You know, nowadays, some part of the Lebanon, if you don't know, please pay attention, and it's good for you and for your knowledge that some part of Lebanon now is under occupation of Israel.
Yes.
Most part of Syria, Golan Heights is under occupation of Israel. All Palestine is under occupation of Israel. So, if Hezbollah is defending itself, can you blame Iran, or you should blame Israel for occupation of the territory of Lebanon? You know. Unfortunately, Israel tries to change the place of murderer and victims.
All right.
They occupy the territory of Hezbollah and Lebanon, and Hezbollah is defend its territory. Besides, army, you know, Hezbollah is not alone. Hezbollah, besides, alongside with the army of Lebanon, is defending territorial integrity of Lebanon. Unfortunately, till now, they could not.
Okay. My last question to you, sir. What is your expectation? Because India has close ties with Israel as well as Iran. What is the role that you expect India to play as far as helping to de-escalate in this conflict is concerned?
India is good friend of Iran. India is good friend, old friend of Iran. And also good friend of Israel too. But comparing the relation between Iran and Israel, Iran and India, with India and Israel, it's not comparable. You know, our relation is more than 2000, and our language, our ancestors all have been together and are the same. So we expect, since the beginning of tension, I myself tried to, and explicitly said that India has influence. India as a rising power, as the voice of South, can play enough role, and it is good opportunity for India to enter the game and play for the escalation of the situation.
All right. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for speaking to us here at Times Now.